On air. Now we're on air.
Yay, go us.
All right, cool. Okay, I have an email. I have the email I marked as our flow. So we have the briefly catch up on us.
I got to say, I did the cheat sheet this week.
Oh, perfect. Good.
And I'm so out of paper that it's on the back of this. I learned, it's a long story. But it was when I could.
Multiple printed. That's okay. I have a stack of papers here that are all my misprints, and I tell the kids that's their scrap paper.
No.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. And I could pretend it's because I'm green, but it's just because I keep forgetting to buy a paper at the Office Depot.
I kind of feel guilty throwing out.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. I don't throw that out.
I really do. I feel guilty. So then we use it for making paper airplanes, and we do drawings and stuff. So it worked. At least it's getting double use. Especially when I tried to print out the whole book, and that was like 150 pages.
That's me we're still selling our house in Oakland, so I was trying to print out all the stuff for the title company.
Right.
It's all over the floor.
Okay, I'm setting the timer this time. Okay. Okay, let me wrap my head around this because we're gonna.
Okay, because I'm gonna ambush you with a question at the start. Are you ready? Go.
I'm not ready. Okay, ready? I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Welcome to this week's wycwyc podcast. We are back for episode 4.
And this, to me, I don't know about you, but I'm going to speak for me, feels like the quintessential, my favorite word, what you can when you can podcast. I feel like you and I have been going 8,000 miles per hour for a week. I know I've been juggling every single thing in my life and wycwycing everything. And with the podcast and all that I'm sure you'll bring up that's happening in your life, in the greatest possible way, this feels like this entire experience is what we can when we can.
It is. So it's Thursday. Normally our goal was to have this up on Wednesday as our podcast release day, but I had to travel to help my mom who had kidney stones, which that's
that's supposed to be unbelievably painful.
I could see the pain in her face, and I'm peering into my future. I'm like, oh.
I know. See, I feel terribly when I saw that. I said a little prayer for your mom, and then I did what I never do. I made it about me. I started thinking, I hope I never get a kidney stone. Will I get a kidney stone? I should not start Googling kidney stones. Should I Google kidney stones?
That's exactly what I did.
Yes.
Exactly what I did.
Know. Because if it goes back to the wycwyc, we can tie it back to my first thought was really, is it genetic? Is there anything I can do not to get it? Because I have so many friends who've had them.
It is genetic, and me and my mom and I were reading it all together when she was in the hospital. I was trying to honestly just distract her by talking about things and like reading stuff online and telling her about the kids, and I was like, I just need to like keep her mind busy because there's nothing worse than sitting in a hospital bed just waiting for relief, and that's really basically what she was doing, and I felt so bad for her.
I know. I'm always surprised they admit people because it seems to me like having a baby.
Normally it's outpatient, but her pain was so severe that she went to the emergency room, and then they admitted her, and then and so I guess when they're larger too, it's a big thing. But researching it, I feel like I am the perfect candidate for them. Besides the fact that I drink my weight in water every day, but genetics, my grandfather had them, she had them. Then high protein diets. Rich oxalates food. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like sweet potatoes, chocolate, spinach. I'm like, this
really?
Is
okay, so it's good it is controlling what I can't control, and that was not Googling because I thought, oh my gosh, those are painful. So we were going to record yesterday, and I'm so glad I laughed because I'm going to share this for you. That being who you are and who we are, you said, oh my goodness, I should have brought my headphones.
I did.
We could have recorded from the hospital. And I had a moment of, you crazy. And then I thought, well, that really is fitting it in. But I think it's much better we waited till Thursday. We're both at our homes. We're settled.
But now I came home to a sick kid.
I know. It never ends.
It never ends.
I know. Mine said this morning, I don't feel good. I have a stomach ache. And I did not say those words that you're supposed to say as a mom. Do you want to stay home, honey? I gave her just call me if you don't feel good. So I'm doing the podcast with my cell phone on and next to me, but I know it's always something. It really is our lives and how we live this every day because we are both, like everybody else, juggling all the time.
Yes, and my fingers are crossed that my 3-year-old does not waddle down from his room during nap right now. So we have 30 minutes to,
Yes.
yes.
So we are ready. I'm really excited about this week. I feel like we're super planned out. We'll talk about your blog post that took off, and I have a craziness because I'm obsessed with the stars at times, and I think all of these stars wycwyc more than they realize. And then we can do a shout out to you
the
guys.
wycwycer of the week. Well, I'm just excited that you feel that we are ready because I don't, and I'm just thankful for our partnership where I feel like when one of us feels overwhelmed and out of control, the other one seems really grounded. So
I know. I feel like in my whole life I need a tribe, a community. Like I could not do anything as an island. I would just sit frozen.
Yeah, it's true. It's totally
Okay,
true.
let's talk about you because I love this blog post. And I don't know how much you want to share that it was sparked by our kind of already online community, but I loved all the conversation it got going after.
Yeah, so I do what I find myself doing more as I get older, and I probably shouldn't, which is butting my face into places it doesn't belong. And I don't know about you. I don't know. I feel like as I get older and more confident and more, I don't know, just I guess more opinionated. I've always been opinionated, but I'm much more stable in my opinions, if that makes sense, or I feel so strongly about them. But someone mentioned that their trainer said that their goal was to have, quote, Michelle Obama arms. And it just, every time I see something in
it used to be Kelly Ripa arms. Remember that?
Yes, Kelly Ripa's arms,
time,
or Kim Kardashian's ass, or Jennifer Aniston's so-and-so, or what. And every time I see that in like a magazine or a cover or on a blog post, it just sends this chill down my spine of, oh, why do we need to, A, rip apart the female body by parts? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my goodness, yes. I totally agree about that.
Demeaning. It's just really demeaning, I feel. And then I think, and again, this is really personal. It's like for me, there was always certain body parts of myself that I hated to the point of it really affecting my relationship with food, it really affecting my relationship with my body. And I always pursued certain aesthetic goals that were really impossible for my frame. And I feel like it's almost at the root of all of my dysfunction with weight and food and fitness and all that stuff. Like that really, when I was 12 and I saw a picture of myself and I didn't look like what was in vogue then, and really though my body didn't really have the capability to do that.
Changing. So it's like, and I know you reference this in your post, I think, or we were just talking about it, but Twiggy, that was in vogue. Then it became, do you remember Linda Hamilton, T2, the Terminator 2?
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah.
That was like when I was like, oh, I want her, I did have that, I want her arms, but it's like, you can't even win, because the minute you nail the Michelle Obama arms, there'll be somebody else.
Then Skinny's in again, or then so-and-so's again. So I had a really great conversation, and I kind of published it on the blog, and we kind of went back and forth. What
did you call it again? Because I love the title.
Aesthetic versus intrinsic goals. So whether or not we should pursue aesthetic goals, like I want to have a six-pack, or I want to have so-and-so's ass, or so-and-so's arms, or so-and-so's whatever, versus an intrinsic goal of I want to be, and now I don't know if I'm even using the word intrinsic correctly, but I want to run a faster mile, I want to be as fit as I could be, I want to lower my cholesterol, I want to, you know what I mean? So goals that are I don't know, driven from your own instinctual, I want to be a better version of me versus I want to look like so-and-so. And again, I don't know if I'm using the right words.
Yes, and I have a bad one with that because I always think Michelle Obama arms might really motivate me for 6 weeks, but I want to be able to put my luggage, because I'm 10 years older than you, in the overhead bin easily will motivate me for 10 years.
Right. Well, and the conversation, I almost probably should have reread a lot of the comments, because a lot of people brought up some really good points in favor of aesthetic goals. And it's funny because I feel like there's kind of
And do you see it for a wedding? Like, does that make more sense to you?
Like, see it like, oh, I want to fit in a certain size for this.
Wasn't her, because I think she had a trainer for her wedding. Is that what it was?
Yes, it was.
Does it make more sense to you? Like, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. I don't get it.
I feel like I can go on a whole nother tangent about having like goals like that, where it's like, oh, I want to be skinny for the reunion, or I want to be skinny. Yeah. But I feel like there was a lot of back and forth and interesting insights, and people saying, I am really inspired or motivated by a visual goal. And I feel like I don't know how to say this, but I don't think there is anything wrong with that per se. if that works for you. But I feel like there's a large percentage of the population who we are kind of really influenced, even though we might not want to admit it, by what is in vogue in the female body.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then we do pursue aesthetic goals, and it backfires. So, and I think that's not really talked about. I think for the people that it's working for, that's great, and it is really motivating for you. But I feel like there's a whole other group of people over here where it's not working for them. I mean, this is not working because, and I brought this up in the comments. There's a post from years and years ago on my blog where someone wrote to me, and they wanted to know why their motivation for wanting to be thin wasn't enough. And I thought, gosh, I so relate to that statement, because for years I was stuck in that yo-yo diet of I just want to be thin. I just want to look like this.
And for me, that would never motivate, because it's like, what is thin? To me, it's like strong, powerful, take up space, be heard. It's so much bigger than that, literally and metaphorically.
Well, and I feel like we wrap up all of our feelings in this kind of, I want to look this way. And for me, again, it's really personal. For me, that never worked. It never worked. It never kept my fire going. It never made me want to keep, after a few weeks, I'm like, this is useless. I'm never going to look like that anyway. Why bother? Why bother? And then I would just binge and go back to old habits. But once I
And we don't live like them.
Yeah. Well, even trying to compare yourself to anyone is just futile in a way. But I think once I kind of like shifted my focus from that aesthetic goal to, of course, I still wanted to be thinner, but that wasn't like the main focus. It wasn't what's driving me. What was driving me was to find balance, to be a good example for my kids, to be an active mom. I wanted to be able to be that mom that was like swimming in the ocean and not ashamed of me wearing a baby. So it was like, all of a sudden, it was like this like teeny little like, oh, I want to look this way. I'm like, oh, looking that way would be awesome, but I really want to do all these other things.
Yes, it's so funny you say that. It makes me think of when I walk my daughter home from school. There's a mom and she said it once, and I will admit it hurt my feelings a little bit. She said, oh, I want her as my mom. And I started noticing the woman, and she's so playful. I can't even tell you what she looks like physically, but she's that mom.
Yeah.
She's skipping with her son. She's running with her son. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's what kids notice. And she thought that was just, now granted, I like to think I am that mom, but that's what she wanted. It was the playing with them. It was being out there. It wasn't the thin. It wasn't the...
Yeah. And that's funny because that's when I had Ryan almost 10 years ago.
God.
I know, it blows my mind. But that was really what did like light my fire. It was, I want to be that mom, and I'm going to cry if I talk about this, but I was like, I knew my body image was holding me back from doing all the things that I wanted to do. Even back then, even in my 20s, it was like, I really want to be frolicking in the ocean right now, and I really want to be hiking, but I'm so ashamed of my body. I don't do any of these things. And when I had a kid, it was a really big kick in the pants of, I don't want to miss anything. I want to be the mom going down the slides and going in the water parks and whatever. And I was like,
yes,
that's
interesting. You realize that even with a boy, even with the son, because we focus so much on girls, but just that the way you saw yourself would totally bleed into the way you interacted with him.
Yes, and I was like, I don't want the way I feel about my body to be the reason I don't have the relationship I want with my kids.
Oh my gosh, that makes my arm hair stand on end, because it's so true. I think we focus so much on moms to girls. Don't say you don't like how you look, but boys pick up on it too.
They do. I think nowadays is really almost even less of a difference, even because even at 10, Ryan has made some comments about his body. I'm like, where is he getting this from? I know. And it's like, it's scary. But that was
it hasn't gotten easier for girls, and it's only gotten harder for boys.
Yes, it's like instead of it getting easier for girls coming down to the point, the boys are coming up to the girl level, and that's kind of scary. Yeah.
Okay, when I saw that whole post thing, I'm not obsessed with Michelle Obama arms. That's a whole nother rant aside. And I've just got to give it a few words of, I do think maybe some of that's genetics, but that's a whole other thing. That she has amazing arms, but does she work out a lot? I have no idea.
She does, but you know what? That's my point.
Does, okay.
And I think people mix up here. I'm going to see if I can articulate this where it makes sense. I feel like people mix up. I'm not against people wanting Michelle Obama. I think it's awesome.
Genetics.
But we have different. I just feel like there are a lot of people who are naturally more slender, don't have as much body fat, whatever, their muscle mass doesn't grow. And I was like, it's great that a stronger, more realistic, whatever that means, female form is becoming popular, but that doesn't change the fact that we've just moved our target. It was like, okay, instead of looking like Winona Ryder or Twiggy or whatever skinny models that are out, I can't think of them right now. Like, instead of looking like Kate Moss, like that was the target in the 90s, right? Now we've moved to a more realistic body view of what a more maybe average woman, again, whatever realistic and average means, but it's there, but that doesn't change the fact that there are, like, say, Twiggies who can't look like Michelle Obama because they're 5'2" and they weigh 80 pounds soaking wet.
Yes. So, I think about my own sister. She's got the leggy, and I'm like, my inseam's at 26. I will never look like you. And I am happy for her, but I'm happy with what I have. But okay, I got to go back to the stars because I used to, I don't anymore. I used to buy the magazines, not the like fashion-y magazines, but I used to buy before a daughter, like Star and Us.
Inquirer?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Not that bad?
Perez Hilton back in the day when he was page 666, and then it was a lawsuit. But the one, and I will admit, full disclosure, I never really bought Us magazine, which is where this all got in my head from, because it was very seemed a little too boring and staid. But I've kind of gotten a little more into it now that I've gotten a little more boring and staid myself. And I'll flip through it in the checkout line, and I love, really the only section, Stars, They're Just Like Us. Have you seen that?
I have not looked in a magazine besides Wired.
What do you do in the checkout line? Oh, yeah. Well, we don't have that. When I get stuck in the HEB, it's all the trashy magazines.
I never look at it's funny, I just read the covers. I don't actually ever open them, and if I do open it, it's always a food one.
And I get sucked in. So that's what I thought with this. You started it, actually, with that, I'm going to get his name wrong. Is it Chef Robert
Irvine? Yes.
When you did that post about him and doing the fitness in his hotel room and fitting in fitness. So it made me start thinking how, and just kind of viewing my whole life through this lens for a week or so many stars are out there wycwycing, and they don't know what they're doing. But now that I'm doing it, I see it. And so it's him with the fitting in fitness. It's Venus Williams with the Progress Not Perfection. We love her, which fits right perfectly in with the what you can when you can mindset. And I'm going to forget who it was who actually it could have been my cousin, shared this on my Facebook page. But have you seen the Jimmy Carter quote where he says, and I'm going to read this, "My faith demands I do whatever I can, wherever I am, whenever I can, for as long as I can, with whatever I have, to try and make a difference."
Yeah, I think I saw you post that.
Yeah, I'm like, that's so interesting because he is nothing like I am. And I don't know about you, and I don't really even think about him that much, but then that quote was perfect, wycwyc. And another woman, she's been in the news a lot. Have you seen Alexander in the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day?
No, but Ryan just went, it's coming out DVD soon, so that's like on our list.
It actually is. I love Steve Carell, and I'd love to
do too.
Jennifer Garner in this. And that's when she did a whole bunch of interviews about parenting, and her quote was, "The absolute greatest thing about being a parent is that every day is a fresh start."
Yes.
And I thought, that's exactly it. She's wycwycing parenthood, and it's like that for me with parenthood for sure. I'm by myself all the time. I do the best I can. I get up. It's a clean slate. I try again. And whatever I'm doing as a parent is enough by virtue of the fact I'm doing something.
It's so true.
And so it's so interesting to me how you came up with the hashtag, and once we came up with the concept, I thought, oh yeah, I've been doing this forever, and I didn't have a name for it, like we've talked about. And the more I watch people around me, from the stars, they're just like us, to my neighbors, I miss living in Oakland because my neighbors were fully wycwyced. And so I would bump into them and they'd say, this morning I couldn't go run, so I figured I would walk the son to school instead of drive him. He would say, wycwyc. Yes. And so I thought, you know what, it's pervasive. It's the famous people, it's us, and it just really makes me smile when I see someone who's like super big, maybe Michelle Obama, or Venus, or Robert Irvine, or Jennifer Garner, and I'm like, they are doing the same thing I am.
Right. It was, you know what? I was such a dork when I saw that Robert Irvine tweet
Oh,
because
I would
I
have the same way.
literally, like, I
Yeah.
just, I don't know how you do, like, Matt, like, when I'm working, I could kind of have, like, TweetDeck open and Facebook, and I kind of don't pay much attention to them, and then every few minutes I'll go over and peek or something, whatever, or I'll share something.
Yes.
So I'm very much just like, I'm wired and connected to everything, but I'm not monitoring 100% all the
Yes.
time. Like, it's just not possible. And so I happened to look over at TweetDeck, and I see the tweet from Robert Irvine. It was like, watch this video on how I stay fit on the road or something like that. And then he did this whole video about his little workout routine in the hotel, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he's like wycwycing. This is amazing. I'm like, he's like this
Yes.
huge inspiration, muscular guy who you would think would, I mean, if you look at his physique, you think he has to spend hours in the gym. How does he not? Like,
Yes.
and I think, no, he just does what he can when he can. He's on the road. He's working. He probably can't spend hours in the gym now that I think
super
about it.
normalizing.
Yeah,
It's just,
it really
we
was.
are all struggling to do the best we can, what we can, every single day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's a really good word because I kind of thought, okay, here's a guy who I thought had to be, again, like devoting hours and hours to the gym, and here he is just doing this really simple 10-minute routine in his hotel room, in between his engagements, because I'm sure he's working all over the place. And I thought, God, yeah, it's that mentality.
It really is enough. It really does. And
Yeah.
I think it goes back to me for what you said because I didn't know who he was. Go me. And I looked him up, and he does look really good. It does really add up. It's like the tiny things.
I can't believe you don't watch the Food Network. I just need to say.
I know. I never have ever turned it on.
It's like we are so opposites in this. I never watch Bravo. I don't even know what station it is on my TV.
Oh, Andy Cohen. He's going to be on here because he's all about the fit and fitting it in.
So funny. I have no idea.
Bravo, Andy.
Food Network every day, all day. Chopped. Diner Drivers and Dives. It's all I watch. It's my Bravo.
Okay, the food thing. I've got the best. I cheered for her, wycwycer of the week.
Oh, I'm excited because I have no idea who it is.
And I am super excited now. I almost reached out to her and said, may I use your name? But I didn't. So I'm only going to use the first name. It's a very common first name. And then I'll let her know that we shared it.
Okay. Maybe I can guess who it is. Do I know who she is? I don't even know if I know who she is.
Oh, yeah, you definitely do. Okay. So there's this woman that we both adore. And I saw her Facebook post last night, and she basically said, I'm going to keep it vague, I had a really just sucky run. It was not what I wanted. It was painful. So I went and sat in my car, and I thought, I really want to go to McDonald's and eat all the foods. But I didn't.
All the foods.
Yeah, it was pretty much that.
I
want
know
to
who it is.
all the stuffs. And I didn't. I went to Rite Aid. For some reason, that stuck in my mind because I love Rite Aid. Rite Aid is my Tiffany's. So she said I went to Rite Aid, got some kinesiology tape, and then I went to McDonald's and had I love this. I wanted to kiss the Facebook status full in the mouth. I had a salad, and then she put, and a small fry, and she then put, because duh. And I thought, yes, that is quintessential. Wycwyc, it's the salad and it's the small fry. Yeah. She didn't deny herself. She had some of it. She did what she could when she could. She didn't eat all the foods. She bought the kinesiology tape. She balanced it out with a salad. No guilt, no shame. Boom, done. Felt awesome about herself. And I thought that, to me, is doing what you can when you can.
It's so true. It encapsulates the whole. I mean, as someone who is
small fry, I was cheering for her.
Yes, I was saying, as someone who struggles with I want to eat all the foods all the time.
Yes.
It's such a huge milestone for people like me when we finally go, no, the small fry is good. It's like a little switch that goes in your brain, and sometimes you go.
I was so excited.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's just.
And I'm going to use the P word. I was super proud of her because I feel super close to her. I don't even know. I think she knows who I am, but I don't know that she feels very close to me. But I thought this is such a huge success, and I do think I may have commented on the post, but I didn't even want to let her know I was sharing because I thought, I hope that you hear this, and it is like role model. I loved it. So she's my wycwycer of the week.
That's awesome. It reminds me of, and I'll just share. I think we have time for me to like talk.
1 minute.
Oh, okay. I'll share the story really quick. It reminds me of the one time, I don't know, about Weight Watcher meetings, but at the end they always ask people to celebrate something for the week. And I'll never forget when this was like within the first 4 months of me joining Weight Watchers 10 years ago. And she asked if we had something to celebrate. And I was like, I have something to celebrate. I want to celebrate this. And it was such a big movement for me, which was I felt like I overindulged the night before. I ate a little bit too much. We went out for ice cream. We went out to dinner. And I was like, I blew my points out of the water. I used all my weeklies, whatever. But the next day I woke up and I ate breakfast. And it seems so...
Yes, no, it's that getting right back.
Yes, and I think all the years before, what I would have done was try not to eat the next day at all. It would be like, no, I need to fast. I need to fast. I ate too much yesterday. I need to fast. And I literally raised my hand. And I was like, I ate breakfast this morning. And it's a huge step for me.
Oh, my gosh. When I was a trainer and clients would say, I feel like I ate too many slices of pizza. How many did you eat? Whatever they would tell me. And I said, if we weren't working together, if you didn't even vaguely have healthy living in the back of your mind, what would you have done? And the response 100% of the time was, oh my gosh, I would have eaten so many more pieces if we had not been together. And I was like, it is a victory. They're like, but I ate 5 pieces. I know, but you just said it would have been the whole thing. Yes. I'm like, it is a victory. So I really want to applaud this woman. I won't say her name. She's awesome. It made me smile so hard, so she's my wycwycer of the week.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
I love
wycwycer of the week. We did it. Are we done with another podcast?
We did it. We wycwyc our way into the can.
And we're only a day late, even with all of our crazy week schedule. This is
nice. I know. This was so fun. And this is like the best part of my week, which I'm not sure what that says about my week.
It is. I know. Part of me is like, we should like record a podcast a day. We can totally take about 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that would be funny if we did that leading up to book release. There's a thought.
There is a thought. Okay, let's ponder. Let's ponder that, but we need to close so we stay. I noticed that every week our podcast is getting slightly longer than the week before.
I know. Okay, so this was awesome. I love it. Stars are just like us. Order a small fry and it's a victory. That's my takeaway.
Think about what your goals really are and how they affect your motivation too.
This was awesome.
All right, we're gonna go. Great.
We'll see you next week. Wycwyc.
Wycwyc. Oh, we did it.
Are we still recording?
We're still recording. I can shut it off. But I can cut that off now for the podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was great. That was really fun. It really is my favorite day, my favorite half hour of the week. And
oh my gosh.
The 3-year-old didn't come down. I'm so
excited. Charming didn't poop. Oh my gosh, Susie Storm.
Oh, it was Susie? I was thinking it was Christine for some reason at first because all the foods. And I thought, something so she would have said. But now that you say that, I could see Susie. I could see.
And we're not being recorded, are we? No.
We are being recorded.
But then the other stuff, I was like, I am so proud of her for not slipping back into old habits.
Yeah, no.
It was such a victory. I
mean,
honestly read it and thought, I don't know if I could do it. I would be so frustrated with the injury. I was so impressed by that.
You know what's funny is when I get angry at my body anymore when something's not working, and I'm like, it's something you almost have to consciously like come to terms with, and not.
Because in my 20s, I think it'll be gone tomorrow. In
my
40s, I think I'm mad. This is going to stay for how long?
So true. All right, let's let's hang up the hangout, and then I will call you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.